the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about smart nonsense.
Ooh.
I was gonna do the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about smart nonsense.
The emphasis.
We. Maybe
The we. Oh, and a rhyme scheme.
the we.
I like how we evolve. We evolve.
Welcome back to. Let's try it. Okay, in 3, 2.
Oh.
Welcome back to the smart. Welcome back to the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we. No, it's gonna need some work because, yeah, all my timing's off. Welcome back, Pop. Been a week or so.
Back pop.
There he is. Immediate
should I-
catchphrase. Dude, I know you were texting me and our clipped CEO, i.e. Watch this on YouTube, falling apart in real time. That happened at the end of our last recording, which was a week ago. But so yeah, I know you texted and are waiting to hear something from our CEO, who is my brother, Jack Belcaster, running Clipped.
Right.
I got a text from a high school friend around the same time. The high school friend was like, dude, I'm out here in the burbs golfing 18 holes. Your brother is in my T group. I was like, what? Couple issues here. One, neither high school friend nor my brother asked me to go. It's beautiful outside.
Right. That's funny.
And then 2, like, what are the odds of that? It's just so random.
Right. Especially when you get a company that might go bankrupt. Welcome.
No, you can golf all your problems away. I was also telling my brother a couple days ago that when you and I would run into problems with early Clipped, big, hairy, existential payroll and money problems, we would just play more tennis.
Slug it out, dude.
Slug it out. And then we get tired from slugging, and then we wouldn't solve the problem.
Right. But that's tomorrow's problem. And you keep doing that and just rack on debt.
We'd be hitting 3 or 4. We'd be like, so we'd kind of like work from your apartment, and then we'd be really stressed or not wanting to fix a problem, and we'd just kind of look at each other and we'd be like, you want to go hit?
Yeah.
That'd be the second time. Then we'd eat lunch. Then we'd try and fix the problem a little bit more. It wouldn't be going well. We'd look at each other. We'd be like, you want to go hit again?
Right.
Be out there 3-4 times a day.
It's a drug, dude. It's a drug. And yeah, I don't know if it helps or hurts, but sometimes nothing clears the brain like a good slug, whether that be with a tennis ball and racket or a club and golf ball. So that's good that our CEO is doing that. I'm hoping he figures it out.
Where have you been? What's new in?
Well, I've been to Cartagena. And what that means is I've been to the depths of hell and back. Dude, food poisoning, which is the hell that I was in, it's a crazy animal. Because, like, it's not long-term bad. It basically just compresses all the shittiness of sickness into 24 hours. And it's just like, we're just going to kill you. We're going to kill you for 24 hours. And if you make it through, you'll be a happy soul tomorrow, but not today. And yeah, so I don't know what, like, I don't want to blame Sweetgreen because that's my sugar daddy, but I mean, I had a pizza and a Sweetgreen, and the pizza, I don't think it was
Lou Malnati's.
No, dude, I'll puke on camera for that. But
how did it start?
Well,
because I was worried. You know, I usually hear from you first thing in the morning,
dark, dude,
which is about noon. And Krishna texted me about 2 or 3 in the afternoon and was like, Henry, you want to just meet over this thing? Dylan's unwell. And I was like, unwell? I mean, I had a feeling something was up.
Right.
But
physically and mentally.
Unwell. How did it start?
Well, I mean, okay, I had a Sweetgreen, and I posted some photos and different. I sent photos to people of like me eating a Sweetgreen, being a sunflower, super happy. Day was going great. Then ate a pizza, This was right before my hockey, like 30 minutes before my hockey game. So it was kind of confusing because I started feeling shitty. Like
Mid game.
Yeah, but I'm also like, dude, I ate this literally 25 minutes before the game, so like I don't know what's what. Um, and then I figured out what's what right after the game because I just began destroying. Like we don't have to get to it. I will say, for those that have followed my journey of travel and food diet,
it's just Krishna, maybe Horatio,
Yeah.
maybe Dirtfin. It's those three.
I will say this was brutal, but it was like a 3 out of 10 compared to Costa Rica. Costa Rica was 10 out of. I've never been. Actually, Cartagena might have been it.
Cartagena was both of us sick to the bone, and that was a 9 out of 10 for me. Cartagena was bad.
That was for sure. Okay, that was a 10 out of 10. Costa Rica was an 8 out of 10. This was a 3 out of 10, but it's still a wallop and a half. I physically, I was just constricted in a fetal position for 24 hours straight. It was great. I literally didn't use my phone at all just to text Krishna, I'm unwell.
Which you don't, I mean, yeah, you don't even have to do that. I guess it's good to know that if you're dying.
I was just off the map. I thought we had like a call maybe set up or something. So I was just like
SOS.
I slept the entire day. And it's just no fun. But it wasn't like sleep. It was like 15 minutes and then to the bathroom and then back, and it is. But I don't mean to scare people too early in the pod. Fuck. Well, part of the problem is I like a week before said I never get sick, and I've been sick for the last 2 weeks basically. I was actually
started going out more, started seeing more people.
Which
immediately
is another
sick.
gripe?
You're like a young kid who goes to school for the first time with no immune system.
Just I've literally been in this closet all winter long.
Yeah, I don't get sick. How do you get sick so much?
Oh, I talk to people,
dude.
Yeah.
I'm out and about.
No, here's the problem though, because I'm getting out and about, and I'm yes man, and we all know that. But my whole friend group has turned on me. In not like an evil way. I was beginning. Everyone, I'm gonna stop.
Are they becoming no? No, life of no people.
No to the things that I suddenly now like. I was basically like super anti going to bars for like my entire life. I go to like the first bar ever, basically like 3 weeks ago. Fall in love. I never knew this thing existed. Bars are amazing. And it's like in a nice part of town, the Spaniard, which isn't a nice bar. It's like a funny little hookup bar. But we go there, and I'm having a good time. My buddy doesn't. He leaves too early, never has any success, and just hates it. And so now he hit his breaking point. He no longer will go out with me to the Spaniard or really any bar. And all my other friends, they don't want to either. And they're telling me, Dylan, you're not going to find your wife at the Spaniard. Quit going to the Spaniard.
Which they might be onto something.
They might be.
But
they're not
you're having a lot of success at the Spaniard.
Right. I'm getting the ball rolling. Okay. It doesn't have to be the Spaniard. Just like have me enjoy the nighttime. And the Spaniard's just a gateway drug. It could get really dark and south. But point is that they gave up. And they're trying to get me to go to like fucking sauna, ice bath things, because like that's where like a fit person's gonna be. But I don't want to go to a sauna or an ice bath. I don't know, dude. I just got really upset because I finally found what I thought was my niche, because I was thriving, and then suddenly just took
pulled
it all
out from
me.
Under you.
Yeah.
Oh man,
got rugged, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
I will say.
Yeah.
There was the well, I don't want to give too many details because it's a live podcast, but I threw out I thought something fizzled, and then I've been thrown out. I threw out a Hail Mary, and it's
back.
It might.
That's a relationship, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now I'm self-conscious to talk about anything because I know this pod's gonna drop on Monday.
And this is the infinite downside pod.
Right.
No upside from this pod, all downside.
I'll figure it out. I just got to recalculate. It's just it's a
Oh my
bummer
God.
when you get going
Dude,
hot.
before we talk about anything of real substance, this has been fun. Don't get me wrong. Did you listen to today's MFM on corporate espionage, Rippling versus
No.
Deal? I only want to bring it up because it's just a classic Sam and Sean episode, like telling stories, and it rocks. It rocks. Their chemistry
Oh, nice.
rocks. They rock. It's so fun.
Hmm.
So I just thought I would say that. Maybe you can listen to it after.
Right.
Should probably talk
I
about
I
some
almost
trial
did.
developers, huh?
Yeah. Well, one thing, dude, what's interesting as we're bridging the dating to hiring gap here, it's this is some pod fod I had from before. It's just interesting because I hadn't really been dating for a while. I just fucking spun that U-turn, dude. Watch out.
Sean also talked about that in this episode. He basically didn't date for all of college and 2 years after, he said. And I was like, sounds a little familiar. I know a guy.
You're just all or nothing. Um, it was just interesting, like when you have, I don't know if most people function this way when they're like on dating apps. Not that I'm not on dating apps, but like I assume this is the stereotype of like you just crank out a bunch of dates with different people, like line them up back to back to back, and it's just interesting. Like I kind of had a little sample of that, and it's really weird, like seeing completely different personalities of people lined up right next to each other.
It's illuminating, probably.
I don't know, dude. It was just a weird feeling.
Or is it a
Like
weird, like, whoa, my life could go in like two very different directions?
two, how about 20?
You're not.
I'm joking. Yeah, probably two. I don't know what it is. It's just like I don't want to say everyone's a little unique snowflake, but like it's kind of cool how everyone's just got their own little crystals in their
Oh,
own.
isosceles.
Some people are shy. Some people are touchy. Some are funny. Some are adventurous. It's fun,
Nice.
dude. I've just been
Nice.
been in a closet for a while. So the point is, though, tying this back into hiring, it's interesting seeing how everyone in the hiring process has their own little like cool little spike, unique branch of their snowflake.
I'll give you a few, right? It's like over the last week, we got someone who sent us a test flight of the Brain Blast iOS app very quickly. And so we had like something physical to touch.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had someone, and these are like really great engineers, great candidates. We had someone kind of comb through a lot of old Smart Nonsense content and deck out their build with GIFs and like really tasteful dirt animations. Just stuff that they went and researched. So it's like, oh, that person like thought about Smart Nonsense, went and looked through all of our stuff and like really
Wait,
what?
quick thing on that person. You think that's the case, and then you look at like on the application, there's a little thing that says like anything else cool you want to tell us, and they're like, I think this is a fun tool.
Oh.
And we're like, dude, like you did super background research. It was just like ironic.
Cancel out.
Fuck that, yeah.
There's more snowflakes. There was one guy that said in his trial task he was gonna serve this guy said he was gonna serve up C asterisk NT. I won't even say the word. What did he also? He had so many funny ones. Something about. Oh yeah, I don't know. That guy was kind of nuts, but had a high recommendation from someone at Instagram. I don't know if that trial ever came in.
No, I don't think so.
Which is also hilarious.
But we also have like there's like a 14-year-old. there's like
which I'm in favor of.
Right.
I'm like, give me the youngest, scrappiest, most AI forward engineer out there.
Yeah, not opposed.
There's a Stanford student and his so it's like Stanford dev plus his friend who's a designer in India.
Deal.
That's a package deal, and the guy in India is on a gap year of sorts, but like does the design, and their thing's looking really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I looked at this hodgepodge squad of misfit toys, and I was like, this could be a really good, dense engineering team. They each
Well,
bring this like
yeah.
they each
So,
bring this unique superpower to their thing.
right. Well, it's just I think about like, well, assuming we didn't actually fundraise, so we don't have infinite funds to hire all these people anyway. So that's kind of like we can't even do that. It would be sick. But like, assuming we have maybe say 5 amazing candidates, and we got to go down to one, and we have no technical skills, so we've never hired for this position before. It's just like, wow, there's a really good chance we fuck this up and don't hire the right person. So like, what is the best way to minimize the chance of fuck up while having zero cash in the
Right.
bank effectively to like hire these people? Which we do have
Yes.
cash, but like effectively none. But it could be bootstrapped very fast. It's just like a weird little puzzle to try and solve. And also like, you want to give some equity to like a good co-founder. There's just like a lot of pieces. Like some people would want equity, some wouldn't. Some might only want equity. Like, yeah, kids in school, like what the fuck do they need cash for?
And on top of all of that, the actual product itself is a new domain for us. It's software.
Right.
We do like video and service stuff.
Well, yeah. Yesterday I'm talking to Krishna, and I'm like, "Hey, Krishna, I think the most important thing is like the design, like how the product like looks and feels and stuff like that." And she's like, no, I think it's the back end. And then it's like, okay, front end or back end? And I'm like, I don't really know the answer to this. And I'm trying to do some research. And then I'm like, well, I think the back end's easy. And then we don't know the actual answer. There probably is an answer. We don't know. We have to like ask people. But then there's like, okay, well, there's like the UI of the app, but there's also like the actual product design of it. Like you kind of want someone that like likes game design to design it to be really fun and addicting, and that's totally different than like the actual artistic
I
interface.
think, right. You sent something, it was about a designer, and you need somebody, I think it was from Nikita Beer. Like, you need someone leading product. I think that's actually probably one of the only things, especially you, and then a little bit of me, and then probably Krishna bring to the table is like, I don't think we're shooting in the dark of product. I think we have a pretty good understanding of product. What was my point? Well, yeah, it still has to look good.
But like, you don't want to micromanage somebody. Like, it'd be really nice if they're also on
Yeah.
the same page product wise, but then how do you weigh that? It's just really tricky. Like, normally the nice thing about hiring in the Philippines is we're like, hey, we got 5 people that we like, let's just trial them all for a month, and it's like relatively not that expensive. Versus here, trial that for a month, that's $100,000, and it's like, well, we can't do that. uh
Yeah, and I
so
was telling Krishna like we got to get creative with the trial project because we still want to run that algorithm of like we like to see in a month or so, or maybe it's on one project, maybe it's not a month, maybe it's a week in this case. It's probably a week, but like we want to make sure we like working with the person and vice versa. They should like working with us.
but also
And
like a week isn't a long
right,
amount of time.
right, not enough stuff will come out in a week to
Yeah.
be able to judge. Dude, it is
So,
interesting too because like the guy, the little snowflake, the unique snowflake that uh went back and like kind of deeply researched smart nonsense content and built that into his app. That guy got the game, I think, the most right of anybody else, but then had weaker design. So it's like made better product decisions, but then just wasn't up to like iOS standards of UI. The guy who sent us Test Flight sends us a pretty beautiful, really snappy, buttery iOS app, but his like product is a little bit wrong.
right.
It's just it's just kind of
Well,
crazy little puzzle.
yeah, I'd be there's like some
I'm really hoping
creative.
our package deal, the package deal, the 2 kids, I'm really hoping
Well,
that works out.
the funny thing about that snowflake is like they prefer, and I don't want to boost your ego, they prefer React Native to Swift.
I
So
didn't know that.
I don't they can build in both. They just like tend to do React Native, so they prefer that.
Which,
So we'll see.
if it's really good, we're probably not opposed to.
Yeah,
We're not trying to
and
do anything crazy. It just
right.
has to feel snappy and play animation and video really smoothly.
Yeah. So I don't know what the solution to this puzzle is going to be, and it's probably like each puzzle piece has its own
Dude,
independent solution.
maybe it's like a hackathon. There's got to be a creative way to do it. It's like you guys are the five. We're going to have a hackathon over this one core game component where I do a math problem, I send you a math problem. I don't know if it's paid. Does the winner get paid and get a job? There's got to be a creative way to do it. What?
Well, it's also funny because like when like I don't know how to judge a backend, and I think backends only break down at scale and stuff like that. So like this doesn't even I don't even know how it applies. It's like they might pass this, but then the whole fucking game crashes when we have more than 10 users, and it's like, well, we did. But I think there are things that are like Firebase, they're like plug-in like fucking companies built around.
We should probably
Like,
almost
oh,
certainly plug their code base into Claude or in front of a couple technical friends and be like, "What do you think of their code?"
yeah.
It's pretty to us and the buttons work, but what do you think of the actual code? Is this a good foundation?
Yeah. One thing that has been helpful is we asked them a bunch of basically we gave them our product roadmap, which is interesting because I have some friends that are like super heavy into just building stealth because I think largely they don't have a moat with what they're doing. So like not telling people about their apps, whereas we're kind of out in the open of like this is what the product's going to feel like and look like. So we kind of laid that out and we're like, okay, this is what we want to build the app like. How would you actually go and do it? And then they kind of outlined like, here's how I do it. Here's where I'd run into hiccups. Here's how I'd solve them. Like, here's what worries me, etc. And then you can kind of compare that across like 20 different applicants to get a better feel when you have no idea for yourself what's going to be difficult and easy. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's a funny little puzzle, I guess.
It's a frustrating one too. Like Christian and I were on the phone a day ago or 2 days ago. We were talking about stuff and stuff we want to build and whatnot, but it's just like we're just at the whim of this person, and like nothing gets built. We're just like it's
If we
just
rely on one person only.
no, that's not the issue. It's just like it's just kind of a waiting game to find a really great engineer, and we're
Well, I
just like
think
we just want this thing to exist.
yeah, I mean, Krishna's rightfully super antsy because it's been a year without any tangible progress. But like, I think we're in a really good place now. Of we actually have good applicants. I don't think we need to like open our net any broader. Like, we just gotta take the best of what's remaining. We just it's really tough to pick the best. And then yeah, there are some other interesting things. I guess like App Store. There's a bunch of like details of like App Store doesn't pay you out for a couple months too, because there is some argument, I guess, of like who knows all the solutions, but there's probably like profit sharing off of early stuff. But if you don't get paid, I don't know. There's just like a lot.
Apple doesn't pay you for 60 days or something.
Yeah, which
And
if
then
it takes a month to build and then you don't monetize, like it could be months and like 4 months before any real money comes in. Like that's an issue, especially like if when you have someone building 0 to 1 an app versus like a service, you're kind of expected to get some version of equity. If it's like if you're not, I don't know. There's just more of an expectation for that stuff. So it's just confusing. Like we've never had to really deal with like equity with people we don't know. Granted, Krishna, like we don't really know, but like right out the gate dealing with equity.
Yeah, but Krishna came to us with a product that was generating revenue and is morphing into this thing. That's more tangible than like starting from zero. And I mean, it's like a classic startup co-founder thing.
Yeah. And
So
I guess, well, this is why Y Combinator is like, hey, we don't back founders that haven't worked together before. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, can we like work together before we do equity stuff? But I guess that's where vesting comes in. It's a confusing new world for all of us going from services to tech, media to tech.
I'm
We'll
not gonna
figure it
Gardeloo
out.
you. What do you got going on this weekend?
Am I supposed to? I don't like. I prefer it when you just go to Lou. Um, what I got going on? Well, I got Hail Mary that's up in the air. Got a couple other things cooking. Hold on, dude. I might have some thought. Well, you got a magic show. Do you want to talk about anything in your personal life,
No, I don't do personal life on the pod. Um,
or really ever?
I'll do. We could play the game where you give
Oh
me 2 or 3 options and I pick one.
no, well, this might be too much. I feel like we need a bow. Um, fuck. See what happens when you didn't just Gardeloo me? No, well, I was debating. I'm going to SF next week just because my buddy has a place there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Stanford, and there's an iOS class. I was debating just going to the class and just like airdropping people our website, or like our hiring poster, like in the class.
Do it.
Yeah. Well, the class starts the day I leave, so I'm like, oh fuck, and I don't want to miss my hockey game, but I might. I don't know. I was hoping this professor would reply so we could just email his list.
Maybe he
But
has. I'll check right after this. Um,
oh,
remember
one thing on
remember
that
that story though where you you went in to sit you went to sit in a lecture and you're Mr. Front Row, like pay attention in lectures, but
with my chunks,
you
dude.
had chancletas on, thong flip flops,
I know, dude.
and you tried
Trying
to
to,
escape.
I couldn't, dude. Fucking loudest ninja you ever heard. Yeah, it was like a deep machine learning class or like something way in over my head. Um, one point I made this morning with hiring is like, I think the best thing in the world to make hiring in the future easy is a product that works well, like or Brain Blast's biggest Duolingo, like growing on that trajectory. Bam, we can hire anybody. But in the event that it's still difficult to hire, like second best is just having a crack team,
Well,
which
wait,
comes from like,
didn't you kind of validate the product thing because we started doing all this outbound hiring and saying, hey, look at this smart nonsense thing we created. Look at this social proof. And I think a lot more people were willing to hear us out or trust us or give us a chance.
the you saying
So,
Brain Blast site?
no, smart nonsense. Our content,
Oh, okay.
being able to say this is who we are and what we've done.
Right.
That already helped so much with recruiting.
Yeah. What was
Same
the
same
was the
with Brain
combo of
Blast.
that plus the yeah, it's interesting how things stack and it gets a lot easier. Like I think all of our top candidates came from DMs, like DMing people to like look at our stuff, and then there's all this
It was
social proof.
Krishna in my DMs. But
Yeah.
I just scroll through them quickly and I see a lot like, yo, this is amazing. Yes, super interested.
Right. And that's
Because
cold as
that's
fuck, which
cold.
is crazy.
But I think these
Uh
engineers probably don't get a lot of DMs, so they feel really special. Um, but then also, yeah, they see like our brand and our social proof and immediately are kind of like, oh, this could be huge.
yeah. And my point
And then
is
you were talking about the first cracked hire.
if yeah, especially if it's like, hey, we have like Stanford engineers on the team, which is like the best tech school in the world. It's like, oh, okay, they're legit. Versus if we just, I don't know, with the people that we eventually want to hire, I think it'd help a lot. Versus like, oh, he made some cool hack apps on Twitter and now he's working with us. But if that's big enough, it doesn't matter. But it's just like a nice bonus to have. It's already probably factored into all our decision making anyway, but it just confirms it.
Gardeloo just
Thanks, dude.
confirms it. Don't end on a low, Pop. Come on.